Today we're checking out Jace Reawakened in Oathbreaker and seeing what kind of signature spell might pair best with him. And boy was I excited when I saw that we had another 2-mana Planeswalker. We only have 2 of those. Until I read the first line of text here. You can't cast the spell during your first, second, or third turns of the game. +1, draw a card, then discard a card. +1, you may exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. -6, until end of turn, whenever you cast a spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Boy, is that disappointing. This is basically a 4-mana Planeswalker. I mean, it is and it isn't. You're not going to be casting it early in the game. You can't even cheat it out while ramping. I suppose you could pick a 1 or 2 mana signature spell, so when you do hit turn 4, you can cast this and the signature spell on the same turn. That's probably what I do. It's not incredible, but it's something. I should probably clear up what that second +1 even does. So when you plot a card, it means you exile it from your hand, cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost. So it's letting you cheat the mana cost of something. It's interesting that it lets you cheat the mana cost of a non-land card. I would have expected instant or sorcery, being blue. But nope, any non-land card. And all these plotted cards you're going to build up are going to contribute to your -6 if you can get there. So when you do cast them for free later, you get to double them. And of course, you'd get to double your signature spell if you cast it on the turn that you -6 too. That's pretty cool. Fun fact, this is the second 2-mana card that says you can't cast it on the first, second, or third turns of the game. There's also Sarah Avatar from a long time ago. Maybe Wizards decides we need one for every color. I guess that's cool, I guess. Now let's talk signature spells. Jace's Triumph can be a popular one for Jace Planeswalkers. For 3 mana, draw 2. If you control a Jace Planeswalker, draw 3 instead. However, I much prefer See the Truth in this format. For only 2 mana, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards into your hand instead. So it's kind of a draw 3, or at least going up 3 cards for only 2 mana. And like we talked about, you can do this the same turn you cast Jace, and that's nice. If we don't pick it as signature spell, it really ought to be in the deck, because this works off of plot too. Other solid draw options are Preordain and Brainstorm. Maybe a wheel would work, probably Windfall would be a good choice. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. I guess this might not put you up in cards, so maybe this wouldn't be best. Believe it or not, Time Twister is legal. The Oracle text says each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. So yeah, you finally have something to do with that Power 9 card you've had sitting around collecting dust. A proliferating draw spell would get you more cards for that second +1 and get you closer to that -6 quicker. Just maybe it could be worthwhile to pick a tutor signature spell, tutor up exactly what we need, and plot it. Merchant Scroll can get an instant, Solve the Equation could get an instant or sorcery, or Fabricate could get an artifact. Maybe a counter spell like Mana Drain for only 2 mana, counter target spell at the beginning of your next main phase, add an amount of colorless mana equal to that spell's mana value. Or just counter spell or something like that, but I do think if you're going to go with a counter spell signature spell, you want it at 2 mana. Or maybe some kind of a board wipe, a blue bounce board wipe. That would help you stall until you can get to that -6, and if you wind up bouncing some of your own stuff, if it's low enough mana, you can plot it and cast it with the -6 doubled later. All in all, an interesting card. I hope it's better than I think it is. And man, that art is pretty cool. I'd like to know the story behind this. It kind of looks like Jace is turning into Vraska, doesn't it? It looks a little like Vraska. I'll tell you what, it's hard to build a YouTube channel off of Oathbreaker. It's just not popular. So if you could hit that like button, that would help me out a ton. And check out my channel if you want to see more of these videos, pairing Planeswalkers to signature spells. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.